Chomesh and Rashi, the Torah portion. Torah portion Shmois, the first one of the book of Shmois of Exodus. We're in the third reading. We learned yesterday about the birth of Moshe Rabbeinu, of Moses. And now we continue as he grows up. We are Shmois, Exodus chapter 2, verse 11. Vayihi. And it happened b'yamim mahim in those days. Vayigdal Moshe. Moshe grew up. Vayetze el Echav, and he went out to his brothers, meaning fellow Jews. Vayabisi vloisam, and he saw their burden. Vayar ish Mitzri, and he saw an Egyptian man, Make ish Ivri ne'echav, who was striking a Hebrew man of his brethren. Rashi. Question is listening to what? Verse number 11. Vayigdal Moshe. Moshe grew up. Halakvar Kosav. Didn't the Torah already tell us? Vayigdal Ayeled. In the previous verse, number 10, it says that he grew up already. The boy grew up. So this is redundant. Why is it repeating? Amar Rabbi Yehuda ben Rabbi Eloi. So Rabbi Yehuda, the son of Rabbi Eloi, he answers to this question. Harisha lekaima. The first one, that he grew up in physical stature. Physically, he grew up. Hasheni legdula, but the second one is speaking about growth as far as in rank. Not in physical stature, but in I don't know if you call it, I wouldn't call it spiritual stature, but well, Sheminu Para al-Besa, because Paro appointed him over his household. So he became an important individual. That's what it means. He grew up. He grew in importance. And he saw their burden. He focused his eyes and his heart to be distressed over them. Remember, he was raised in the court of Pharaoh. He was raised in the court, so he wasn't part of the enslavement. But he saw, and he was distressed over it. Then he saw Mitzri, an Egyptian man. The Egyptian was a taskmaster. Mamuna al-Shaitre Israel, who was in charge over Israelite taskmasters. They had a hierarchy of people who were, responsible over the slaves. And he would wake them up in time for the crowing of the rooster, lamalachtam, to get them to work. Interesting how Rashi, from this, these words, Ish, an Egyptian man, he takes this understanding. Make Ish Ivri, he was striking a Hebrew man. It doesn't say he was striking several people. It was just striking what seems to be an individual. The Egyptian was lashing him and intimidating him. The Hebrew man was the husband of Shalamis, the daughter of Dibri. And the Egyptian man had eyes for her. So at night he came and he awoke up the Hebrew taskmaster, and he took him out of the house. And he returned and entered into the house, and had relations with the Hebrew wife. Kisfura she baila, you know, she didn't pick up that she thought it was her husband. But when the man returned to his house, he sensed that something occurred. Okay, and when the Egyptians saw that the Hebrews taskmaster sensed what occurred, he was striking him and intimidating him throughout the day. Interesting how Rashi gets this from the verse over here. Okay. So this is what he saw. Verse number 12. Vayifen. So now Moshe, he turned. Koi v'choi. This way and that way. V'yar, and he saw ki ein ish. He saw that there's no man. What does that mean? We'll see. V'yachis Mitzri, and he smit the Egyptian, v'yitmanehu, and he hid him, b'chol, in the sand. He buried him. He killed him and buried him. Rashi, v'yifin koi b'koi, he turned this way and that way. Ramashos, also, Babayis, he saw what the Egyptian had done in the house, and also saw then what he did in the field. In other words, he saw this way what he did in one direction, and he looked the other way what he did in the other direction. Right? That's not the simple meaning. Or the pshute, but according to the simple meaning, kamashmai, as it sounds. Like you look this way, that way to see if anybody is looking. Right? Is anybody watching? Right?
Well, they know if someone saw the deed.
Yeah. Next Rashi, v'yar ki ein ish. He saw that there's no man. What does that mean? No man. She'ein ish, that there is no man. Right? Osid latzeis mimena, she is gayer. There's no man that's going to destined to come from this Egyptian that would convert. In other words, someone who might convert in the future, I guess, would be a merit for him. He has no one in the future that's going to so he's deserved of the death sentence. Wow.
Already,
Huh?
he could already see in the future.
Yeah.
Motion.
Well, how's that? How could he?
Because with a prophet, he was born light.
Oh, because he was born. We learned yesterday. He was born, and the house was full of light. The light of Torah was already a part of his being. His body, even in birth, did not obstruct his soul, right? Which, of course, for us it does.
By the way, also look back into his past, if there's someone connected to him.
Well, you just said if someone is destined to come from him that would convert. That's what Rashi just said,
The
right?
future, not the past.
Of course, the future. Obviously, the
But
future.
I said, Kovaho, I read that it's also the past.
No, v'yar ki ein ish. He saw that there's no man, meaning there's no destined someone to be born from him that would come from him that would convert to Judaism, right? That's what Rashi just said, right? But it's on v'yar, but it's on the words. Rashi is saying it's on the words v'yar ki ein ish. It's on those words, right?
I'm just saying, I read that it's also reference to the past. Ko vaho. That's he looked back and he looks forth.
Okay, Rashi doesn't say that.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm just saying that. I read it, it's.
Okay. All right, very good. Verse 13. Oh, today's learning in honor of the yahrzeit of Perla Bas Avram, Chaim's mother. How many years is the yahrzeit?
15.
Okay. And also for my grandmother, Beluma Bas Shmuel, it's her 55th yahrzeit.
Oh.
Yeah,
Your grandmother?
my grandmother. Yeah. Okay, verse 13. Yeah, we're good. And he went out on the second day, meaning the next day. And behold, there's two men, Ivrim, two Hebrews, Nitzim, that they're striving with each other. They're having a quarrel. They're having a quarrel. So he said to the wicked one, Moshe says to the why would you strike your fellow? So he's challenging this Jew. Rashi in 13, Shnei Anashim Ivrim, two Hebrew men, Dos of Aviram, who are they? Das and Aviram. Elsewhere it says Anashim, men, and it refers to them. They're the ones who later on they will leave over from the manna in violation of the command. And there it says also the word Anashim. So there's a connection between the two. Nitzim, they are mirivim, quarreling. Where nitza comes from the word to destroy, as in a quarrel. Right, Lama Saka, why would you strike? Even though he did not hit him, Nikra Rasha Baharamas Yad. He's called wicked just by the very fact that he raised his hand with the intent to hit. The verse doesn't say, why have you hit? Why would you hit? Which means that he only raised his hand with the consideration to hit, right? Yet, right, it says, Vayomer LaRasha, he says to the wicked one, the very fact that he had the intent to hit and in fact didn't hit, he's still called wicked. Reyacha, why would you hit your fellow? Rasha Kamaischa, a wicked one like yourself. That's interesting. And others, he's your friend. How is he your friend? In what way is he your friend? In wickedness. Right? So they're both wicked. Got it?
The Rusa.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, 14. Ayomer. So now he responds back to him, the Russia. Mi samcha, who placed you, Leish, as who placed you as a man, Sar, a ruler, the Shafit, and a judge, Alenu, over us? Halarageni ata? Are you going to kill me? Omer kasher. Omer, he says to him, right? Kasher lai karaktes a Mitzri, like you killed the Mitzri, the Egyptian, right? Remember, he killed the previous day the Egyptian. V'yira Moshe was frightened. V'yomer ochein, and he said, therefore, noida hadavar, the matter has become known. Oh, okay. Rashi in 14. Yeshem, you're with us?
Yeah, I just have to go very soon.
Yeah, we all have to go after 120.
I have an appointment.
We also have an appointment after 120.
Listen, if you look
Okay.
120, thank God.
Yeah. But till then, we're waiting to go to the appointment. We're not waiting to go to the appointment.
You're not
No,
We're all
we're
waiting.
staying here. We're staying here.
waiting.
No.
We're all waiting in God's waiting room.
No. That's a very non-Jewish idea.
That's Florida.
Yeah, right, exactly.
You wish you-
Misamcha leish who made you a man. Hinei oidcha, now you're still a young lad. Yeah, who made you like this big, this big guy over us? Hinei ata, are you going to kill me? We can't eliminate him. From here, we understand she'argu b'shem ha'mefurash, that Moshe killed the Egyptian by uttering God's ineffable name.
He knew that already. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he grew up at Batya's home. And he knew so much.
So look what the verse says over here. Haligeni ata oimer.
Oh,
Right? In other words, are you going to kill me by saying? Well, what do you mean by saying? Meaning you're going to kill using God's name. That's how Rashi knows it, right? Previously, from the verse, you don't know. It just says that he killed them. Doesn't say how. Now we know that he used God's name to kill him. Clear? Oh, thank you very much. Oh, wow, look at that.
yeah.
Amen.
Worried about whether
Amen.
what he did. He's a prince of Egypt.
Let's
You
learn.
know,
Let's learn.
These people were
Excellent question. Excellent question. Let's learn. We're gonna see. Excellent question. We're gonna see.
No, it's over now. It's going to
So,
make you.
well,
V'yar
what does it
Moshe,
mean?
v'yira
What does it mean?
Moshe.
How old was he when this incident? No, so it's like under 13. What?
Good question, because seemingly,
How does Rashi knows this also?
yeah.
Misamcha leish, because ish is older.
I know because in my mind the calculation is
Yeah.
that he's
he
maybe
was
like
around 40.
40. Exactly, he's 40 because he went
Yeah.
to Midjan for 40 years. But maybe the calculation's off. Okay, good question.
By questioning.
So good question.
Misamcha leish. So who made you a man?
In other words, because you're not a man.
Huh?
Because you're not a man, you're young.
You're not a man.
Yeah, you're still young.
Huh.
Yira Moshe was frightened. This should be on the Skip Simple. Right? He was afraid that he's going to be punished for killing the Egyptian. The midrashic explanation is that Moshe was afraid because he was worried. He saw evil people amongst the Jews. That they're informers. Omar, he said, Miata, if that's the case, perhaps they're not fit to be redeemed. He's seeing in their pain and their suffering that they're going through. And now he witnesses that there's, evil people amongst the Jewish people that maybe they're not going to be fit to be redeemed. Now, the matter has become known. Just should be understood, as it's understood simply, right? That Moshe killed the Egyptian, and that is a known fact now. But the midrashic interpretation is the matter that I was puzzled about has been clarified for me. I now know. I used to ask to Israel, what did the Jewish people sin? Because Shivim Umais more than the 70 nations of the world. That they should be in a crushing labor, tyranny of crushing labor. But now I see that because of the informers that are amongst them, that they're deserving of such a punishment. Whoa. God didn't appreciate this, by the way. Not here, but wow. That's very...
What did God not appreciate?
His sentiment about the Jewish people. God's going to redeem them as we learn, what does Moshe really become? He becomes who? Yeah, but he becomes the can't think of the right word, but he becomes the shepherd of the Jewish people. Shepherd takes care of his flock. Shepherd doesn't say something negative about his flock,
Loyal shepherd.
right? Right. A loyal shepherd doesn't say something negative about his flock. That doesn't mean there aren't challenges with the flock, right? But doesn't say something negative. Anyway, that's not Chumash and Rashi. That's, beyond Chumash and Rashi. Okay, verse number 15. Yishma Para, and Para heard. It's a davar azeh. He heard this thing. Right? So obviously they were informers. Otherwise, how would you have heard of all of this? The Yivakesh, the Haragas Moshe, and he wanted to kill Moshe. Vivrach Moshe. So Moshe ran away, Mipnei Para, because of Para. V'yeshev Eretz Midian. And he settled in the land of Midian, V'yeshev Alaber, and he sat by the well. Oh, look at that. How many people, how many amazing Jewish things happened by the well? Huh? All the Shidduchim took care, were by the well, right?
True.
Rivka was by the well, right? Rachel was by the well, right? No, Rachel came. It was Rachel.
Leah wasn't there.
No, he kissed Rachel, right? So he opened up the boulder for the well. It doesn't say Leah was there. It says Rachel. Right. Anyway, that's what the verse says, right? And now we have over here by the well. We're gonna have a shidduch shortly. Yeah. Look at that. Interesting, huh?
All the covenants, also the brit that they did was kings, was also by the well.
Yeah. All right. Gotta get a well over here, guys. Start digging. All right, 15.
Well done.
Bishma Para, and Para heard, Haim held Shino Alav, doesn't Aviram, they informed against Moshe, Nivakish Lagers Moshe. So you know what? I now I appreciate a little bit what's going on over here. Like why Moshe is like so down on the Jewish people. Well, think about it. You're informing against a fellow Jew to Pharaoh, like, what the heck?
אבל שינים לא תהיה תקווה.
Like it's
You try to help them.
like to what end? Like to what end? Okay. Vivakish Tagar Moshe, and he sought to kill Moshe. Kunstanar Lahargoy. He gave him over to the executioner to kill him. But the sword had no effect on him. And this is what the verse means. The verse soon we will have, well, soon, in chapter 18 here, where Moshe says that God saved me from the sword of Pharaoh. So he tried to kill him, like the bullet, like the gun got jammed, right? So the sword somehow, yeah. Okay. He settled in the land of Midian, so he escaped. He spent there a considerable amount of time. As it says, Yaakov settled. Okay. Next. He sat by the well. Loshin yeshiva, there's an expression of sitting rather than dwelling. Laman Yaakov, you learn from Yaakov, that he met his mate by the well. Oh, look at that, Rashi says that, huh? Interesting.
It's not coincident.
Right, exactly. Midjan. And for the ruler of Midjan, or the minister of Midjan, Sheva Bonos, he had 7 daughters.
So
Betavina.
Was he like, he was getting all the history of his people, and while he was with Batya, that he learned from Yaakov his ways, that what's
mean,
going on?
Where did he learn all of this?
Was
When he was in, I mean,
at
he knew
least
he was a
was
Jew.
spending time.
He knew that he was a Jew, obviously, right?
No,
So,
not in the beginning.
Moshe, of course. Well, then why would he kill the Egyptian? Why would he? He says he saw the pain and the suffering of his brethren. No, it says brethren. The pasuk says brethren. Echav. He knew he's Jewish.
All this history about his past and his forefathers.
Good question. Good question, but it doesn't bother Rashi because he did somehow. I guess he, from his mother. Remember, his mother nursed him, and so he had contact with the family. That's all midrashim, right? That's all in midrashim. Find it all there.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So Kohen Midjan. What does that mean? The word Kohen Midjan. So Rashi says Rab Shebehem. He was the foremost, he was the head, he was the leader. But he disassociated himself, he removed himself from idolatry. Benidu Metzlam. So the Midianites banned him from dwelling next to them. How does Rashi pick that up from the verse? Interesting. I don't know how Rashi picks that up. Just the words Kohen Midjan. So it means Rashi says that he was, he was a leader.
Like Yitro.
Now, this is Israel. This is Israel. Yeah. Doesn't say his name yet.
That's
Yeah. Yeah. This is Israel. But how Rashi gets this from here?
what?
Kohen Midjan. So Rashi's saying it doesn't mean a minister, right? It means he was a leader. He wasn't a minister because he removed himself from Avodah Zorah. Since it doesn't mean that, so first of all, how's Rashi get that from those words? Why just say that he was a minister?
So he lost his position.
No, well, he didn't lose his position as a leader.
They do Metzlam. They have excommunicated him.
Right, but the verse says he was still a leader. Anyway, so I don't know how Rashi gets it exactly. Okay, let's continue. Es harahatim. Oh, so what's that? I'm sorry, I didn't even read the whole verse. I just read the first two words. Okay, in Midjan, and to the ruler of Midjan, Shemot, he had 7 daughters. And they came, and they drew water. Lena, and they filled up. It's a rahatim, the troughs, in order to water their father's flock. So, okay, we did the first one. Rashi. Now it's a rahatim. As brechas merutzais hamayim asuyas baris. So they make these channels of running water in the ground. That's what this is. Okay, verse 17. Vayavayu.
That's where he gets it.
Harayim, and they came, the shepherds, Vayigarshum, and they drove them away. Moshe got out, and he saved them. Yishak is Tzainam, and he watered their sheep. Rashi Vayigarshum, they drove them away, because the ban against associating with Yisrael. Yeah, that's how Rashi gets it. Exactly. That's how Rashi gets it. Because they drove them away because they were ostracized, they were banned. And yeah, that's how Rashi knows in the previous that Kohen Midjan doesn't mean he was a priest, he was a leader that was ostracized. Why? Because he
Because
he abandoned the idolatry. Exactly. Verse number 18. But Tavaina, and they came El Ruel to Ruel Aviam, their father. He said, here he's called Ruel. And he asked him, why did you come so quickly today? So the Taiman, so they responded, Ish Mitzri Hitzilanu Miadaroim, an Egyptian man, he saved us from the hands of the shepherd. Gamdala Dola Lonu, he also drew water for us. Yishak is and he watered the sheep. Verse number 20. Vayemer el Benoisav, and he said to his daughters, Ayoy, where is he? Lama says often, why did you leave him? Esa Ish, this man, why did you leave him? Right? Why did you leave him alone? Yeah, Kiren Loi, call him, summon him, and let him come eat bread. Rashi, Lama says, Aftim, why did you, you left him there? He was upset. Right, that this man helped them, and they just left him there. He cared by Shomizar Yaakov. He recognizes that he's from the seed of Yaakov. Shamayim oilim likrasa, because the waters rose towards him as they did for Jacob.
Did for Rivka too.
Yeah, but he's from the seed of Yaakov. Right, that's what he recognized.
Seems like physically he looked like an Egyptian, though. As they said, this Egyptian man
Yeah.
protected us.
So yeah, that's interesting.
So Yaakov had also water came towards him, I guess.
Yeah, when that's when the Nile, when he came and the famine ceased, right? This famine stopped when he came. And it says that the waters rose up because when he came. Yeah. So it's a little, I don't understand how Rashi says what he just said. How did he recognize he's from the seed of Yaakov? He didn't meet him. So how does he know the water rose up to him? So they must have told him in the story that he gave us water, that the waters rose up to him, and that's why he gave. But like, or the only explanation is that why is he upset? Like, why should he be so upset? Because he recognizes something special about this person. That's why he's upset. Now, it's not because he just did a favor and, let me do something back for him. Let me, pay back the favor. It's because he recognized that he's a special person. That's, I guess, that's what I understand from here. And let him eat bread. Bread implies, Shemi Yisachas Mikem, maybe he's going to marry one of you. Kamandat Omar, as the verse says, Ki Ima Lechem Asher Hu Eichel, but for the bread that which he eats. If you remember, Potiphar gave Yosef complete control of everything in his house, except the verse says, the bread that he eats, which meant his wife and a relationship with his wife. Right? That's what the verse says. And Rashi explains there, if you recall, that the Torah speaks in a euphemism, in a clean language. So the idea of bread is the idea of a relationship. Okay. Verse 21. Okay, we got a truck over here. Moshe agreed Lasheves to dwell as Aish together with the man. Beaten as Zipporah beat Moshe. And he gave Zipporah his daughter to Moshe as a wife. By the way, also in the context now, we can understand that the bread means a wife. Right? Because look what the next verse says, he's already married. Yeah, and he agreed, Kitaguma, this is understood according to Unkelis, which Moshe consented. So we have a hoyel no, please consent to spend the night. Right? Just it means consent. He just wants to bring out the proof in other places. But the alnu velu alno. Midrash, the Midrashic explanation is Lashon Ola. It's an expression of an oath. And Moshe swore to Yisrael, Shal Yazuz Midjan, that he would not move from Midjan, Ki Im B'Rishusai, but only with his permission. That's what the Midrash explanation is. Okay. 22. Led Ben, and she gave birth to a son, Yikra Shema, and he called his name Gershom. Ki Amar Ger Hayisi, because I was a stranger, Be'eretz Nachriya, in an alien land. Verse 23. And it was in those many days, Yamas Melech Mitzrayim, and he died, the king of Egypt, Israel min Aveda, and the children of Israel groaned, sighed because of the service, Vizaku, and they cried out, Vital Shalvasam Alakim and Aveda, and it went up their cry to God because of the harsh labor. Rashi in 23. Rashi in 23, and it was during those many days, when Moshe was dwelling in Midjan. And the king of Egypt died. Israel, and the Jewish people needed a salvation. And Moshe was grazing as a shepherd. And the salvation for the Jewish people will come through him. The kaf, therefore, that's why all of these verses are juxtaposed to each other. Right? To bring out that, right, what's going to be what we're going to learn tomorrow is about the burning bush. Right? That's why it's all juxtaposed over here.
It says that the king of Nineveh was Pharaoh. And here it says Vayamut Paro.
Yeah. Okay. So next Rashi in 23, and the king of Egypt died. Nitztara, he was stricken with saras. Bahaya Sheikhatina, Israel. He would cure himself because of the skin disease that he had by slaughtering infant Jewish children, and he would bathe in their blood.
Oh.
Wow. What's interesting is, like, Rashi says this just on the words that he died. Like, maybe he just died. How does Rashi take out from here that he died because of what he was doing? Okay. I don't know. Good question. 24. V'yishma Elokim is not Gossam, and God heard their anguish. V'yiskor Elokim, and God remembered his brisai, his covenant, his Avraham, Abraham, Yitzchak, and Isaac, Yaakov, Rashi, Akosam, Takosam, their cry. Me'ir Mesim Naku, Yinaku. From the city of men, they cried out. It's just giving an example from Job. Vesbri says Avram, Im Avram, a covenant with Avram. V'yara Elokim is Bnei Israel, v'yeda Elokim. God looked upon the Israelites, and God knew, took note, it says over here. Yeda Lukim Nos and Alehem Levi gave heart, his attention, in other words. V'lo Yalimeinav, and he did not, turn away from their situation. Wow. All right.
They cried out to God.
Okay, amazing, folks. We'll see you in a few moments. Bye, Tanya.
Thank you, Rabbi.
God bless.